Good morning, students. Welcome to the Literature in English class. Today, I am going to explain you The Chinese Statue by Jeffrey Archer. The story revolves around a Chinese statue brought to London by Sir Alexander Heathcote, who was posted in China as a British ambassador. The narrator of the story was seated amongst the bidders and was interested in the statue's story. He tried to delve deep into its history and found that the statue was bought by Sir Alexander Heathcote, a diplomatic person of great acclaim. He also happened to be a very exact person. He would have breakfast at the same time every morning with the same ingredients in the same quantity, reached his office desk at the Foreign Office at exactly 8:59 a.m. and left from home at exactly 6 in the evening. He perhaps got the punctuality habit from his father, who had been a general. Alexander followed his footsteps and became his Highness in Peking. Alexander had been a sincere follower of Chinese art during the Ming dynasty. His interest in Chinese art was perhaps what made Mr. Gladstone offer him the position, and Sir Alexander was more than delighted to accept it. Now let's begin with the explanation. Sir Alexander could not believe that in his hand was such a great statue. The height of the statue was 6 inches. It was the statue of Emperor Kong. Alexander knew about the Emperor Kong. It was made by the Pen Q, and he was praised by the Chinese emperor. Now, kids, let me tell you who was Pen Q. He was one amongst the 4 masters of art and sculpture. Sir Alexander, only by looking at the statue, could predict or know about it. First was that it was made in the 15th century and it had got blemishes. The statue was good, but the base on which these kind of statues usually stand or were supported was missing, and a small stick was projecting out of the statue. For Sir Alexander, blemishes did not matter. He found the statue was magnificent. He was so happy to find such a unique place of art. The craftsman and Sir Alexander were very happy seeing the statue, and then he asked through the interpreter that whether the statue was magnificent or not. Sir Alexander said it was quite magnificent. The craftsman said that his work in front of the statue was nothing as compared to the work of the craftsman who sculptured such a magnificent piece. Craftsman has some kind of trust on Sir Alexander because he had a healthy conversation with him. As they had discussed a lot about Ming dynasty, as Sir Alexander was holding a magnificent piece of statue in his hand, Sir Alexander and the old man had the same love for the piece, as Sir Alexander was taking equal amount of care as the craftsman was taking for the statue. Sir Alexander praised the statue and was very happy on seeing it, and gave the statue back to the craftsman. He uttered something in the way. He had never spoken. He was a diplomatic person, but he spoke in an undiplomatic way. As he got carried away by the beauty of the statue, he had a deep desire of having the statue. The interpreter heard it and translated it to the craftsman, the desire of owning the statue. Another Chinese tradition was being mentioned here. It said that if a person came to somebody and asked for a thing which he liked, and the owner of that particular thing gives his thing to that person who has asked for it, he is seen with great respect and honor by everyone. The guest had already desired to have the piece, The old man had a desire to give away the piece to Sir Alexander. He could not deny it. A sad look came upon the craftsman as he had given away the statue to him, because according to Chinese tradition he cannot deny anything to his guest. He handed over the statue to Sir Alexander. On seeing this, Sir Alexander said that he was just joking. He didn't mean that he wanted the statue. The interpreter and the craftsman both knew about the tradition. So he said that if the minister will not take the statue, then he would disrespect craftsman's humble home, so might as well take it. Sir Alexander regretted in his own words and action and said that what has he done? He had disrespected his own home. The interpreter could not translate as to what the minister said. Little craftsman bowed in front of him and said that he would find a base for it. And if the base would not be there, Sir Alexander won't be able to decorate it. And people won't be able to see it. Craftsman wanted that all the arrangements should be made for Sir Alexander before he takes the statue. As we all know that the craftsman himself was a great sculptor and made statues, he also needed base, so he opened up the drawer where 100 bases were lying scattered. Finally, he found a perfect fit base for the statue. The old man assured that although he did not know much about the history of the base, but the piece was made by a great craftsman, and he can assure this to Sir Alexander. Sir Alexander showed no interest in the base. He was only interested in the statue as it was a magnificent piece. A lot of embarrassment for Sir Alexander, because he took away a thing which was very valuable for the little craftsman. The interpreter and Sir Alexander were speechless, so they left the little workshop without speaking a word about it. After this, the party left for Peking, that is Beijing. Interpreter saw the state of Sir Alexander, although the minister used to speak first, but this time he spoke first. Another Chinese tradition in which it is said that if somebody showed you kindness, you can return his kindness in the way you want to within the calendar year. He remembered this and wanted to return the kindness within 1 year. So he went to the library and read about the statues and wanted to find out the actual value of the statue. After an extensive research, he finally found the book which had a mention of such a statue, which was the exact copy of the statue, which was in his possession. So, with the help of the interpreter, both of them sat down and figured out the value of the statue, which was almost equal to the salary given to a servant in China if he works 3 years under the empress. He called up Lady Heathcote and said that and wanted to find out whether whatever he was doing was correct or not. He would be giving away all his salary. So Lady Heathcote had no objection. She said, whatever you feel good, do whatever you feel happy about, or think right for yourself. Lady Heathcote left the decision on Sir Alexander, and he did whatever he wanted for the old craftsman from whom he had taken the statue. With this, I end my explanation. Now there is an assignment attached to the video. Kindly go through it. What was Alexander Heathcote's desire and how was it fulfilled? I hope you are doing your homework regularly and you have understood the story so far. Thank you and have a nice